What are the best weapons in Genshin Impact? Now, if you're new to the game, or you've been playing for a little while, you might be interested in what's the best weapons, because, especially when I was playing, at least, until late game, I didn't know what weapons were good. You know, I leveled up a bunch of 3-star weapons. I regret it, definitely, because I didn't know they were good, I didn't know they were bad. That's why I want to help out you guys, because I know that some people, they might feel a bit, you know, like they don't know what they're doing, and I was there once, and I want to help out people so they don't make the same mistakes I do. So, yeah, we're going to do a guide on this today. So if you guys do enjoy today's video, and you want to support me, because feel free to sub, because only 4.7% of watch videos are subscribed. And if you're new, return to the channel. We do daily Genshin Impact guides, news, discussion, streams, challenges, and more. And if you want to support me and help me do YouTube full time, you can always feel free to sub. Obviously, you know, you're not obliged to, so you always can, you know, feel free to just enjoy the videos. But I hope you guys enjoy today's videos. Let's get into it. So, I'm going to go through, like, each weapon, each category, because, like, everyone's got their different characters, right? You might, like, for example, you might have gotten, I don't know, a Chi-Chi from, like, I don't know, a random standard banner, or maybe a Jean, or maybe you pulled Hu Tao when she came out. You might have got Official from an event. You might have got Noelle from the standard banner, you know? You might even have, like, you know, the new character Yan Fei. You might have a Diona, you know? We don't, you know, of course, everybody has different characters, and we're going to go through generally good weapons, and what, you know, each weapon is good for, and if they serve a really good purpose, and if you've got a certain character, who is it best for? So, best way to do it is probably to show off the archive, because I don't own every weapon in the game, you know? Of course, Genshin is a gacha game, so, generally speaking, I'm not going to have every weapon, you might not have every weapon, but we can always talk about weapons that are generally decent for a new player. So, let's start with swords, because, you know, 3-star swords exist. So, Harbinger of Dawn, it's a very good weapon, even at late game, for a support character like Albedo, for example. So if you've got Albedo at some point, Harbinger of Dawn is actually pretty decent. Now, this is generally good for a character that switches in and out of combat quite a lot, so yeah, you can always go with Harbinger of Dawn as a decent option for someone who switches in only just to use their burst or ability to switch out again. If you got, like, your main damage dealer, either Philip Blade or Cool Steel are okay 3-star weapons. They both have attack percent, and they're both pretty okay for early game to mid game. If you've got a character like Bennett, for example, or Xingqiu, or any support character, the Skyrider Sword is a decent option as well, because energy recharge, what can I say, enough said. I think you also get movement speed and a bit of attack boost when you use your burst, and that transfers to your other characters, so that's okay, you know? And now we're going to move on to Claymores, because obviously there's not very many 3-star weapons in the game, so the only really decent 3-star Claymore is the Debate Club. It's one of the most universal 3-star weapons in the game. You can get an upgrade later on in terms of a craftable weapon, but for a 3-star Debate Club, one of the best. You can also use the Skyrider Greatsword. You can find them in chests in Liyue, or you can find it on top of one of the mountains in Liyue. It's a fairly good physical damage weapon, so you can throw it on a character like Razor, Beidou, anyone that you like to do white damage with. So not ability damage, it'll be white damage. White Iron Greatsword is okay for Noelle, but the other two, I wouldn't use that much. Only use the White Iron Greatsword and Noelle because it's generally decent for her. Now, in terms of 3-star, like, polearms, there's not very many polearm users in the game, so we can go through it really quickly. Black Tassel, you can use it on Hu Tao or Zhongli, generally pretty good for both of them. Even, like, at the end game, on the CN servers, people like to run Black Tassel and Zhongli quite a bit, so that's still pretty good for him. As well as Hu Tao, can be okay on Hu Tao. Now, if you're not running an HP percent character, you can always run a Halberd or White Tassel. Personally, I'd say White Tassel was the best out of the 3-star options. Now, this would be good on Rosaria, Zhangling. It's generally good on anyone who just does a lot of damage, maybe Zhao, because you can use White Tassel on Zhao and do something decent. You can also use this on Hu Tao if you really want to as well. It's very good. Now, in terms of catalysts, Feng Tao's Dragon Slayer is one of the best weapons in the entire game. Throw this on a Barbara, a Sucrose, throw this on anyone that you switch out of as a support. It will give your characters attack boost, so I'd recommend refine this to 5, put this on a character. You can't go wrong with Feng Tao's Dragon Slayers. Now, as a weapons, Twin Nephrite, good for a Ningguang, good for a Yanfei, good for any damage catalyst user. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Now, in terms of 3-star bows, there isn't too many options. Sharpshooter's Oath, probably the best, as well as Slingshot. They're both pretty good, and Messenger's okay if you can find it in a chest. I've only got one on my entire account in 6 months of playing, so it'll be good luck on that front. So Sharpshooter's Oath or Slingshot are decent there. Now, I know it's pretty quick for the 3-star weapons, but generally most players don't use 3-star weapons for that long, so we can go on to 4-star weapons. This is why I stopped. This is why I don't own most of the weapons in the game, because a lot of these are gacha limited or craftable, and I just don't have any of them. So, in terms of swords, right, so Livonia Sword, one of the best support swords in the entire game. Throw it on Bennett, Xingqiu, you can throw it on any support and it'll be good. The Flute, this weapon's generally good for Qing, Jean, Chi-Chi, Traveler, Kaya. You can't go wrong with that. Same thing with the Lion's Roar. Lion's Roar is the same kind of weapon here. We've got attack percent. Sacrificial Sword, best in slot for Chi-Chi and Xingqiu, because if you don't know the sacrificial weapons, they eliminate your cooldown entirely and have a random chance to, so that's good. I'll get onto the royal weapon set later on because it's an interesting set and I wouldn't recommend it. Iron Sting, it's alright, but I wouldn't recommend it because the better of the craftable free-to-play weapons is the Prototype Rancor. It gives you physical attack bonus, and you can run that on Kaching, Jean, anyone you want to do a lot of white damage with. Prototype Rancor is extremely good for that, and I recommend getting it. Now, I'll also get onto the Blackcliff weapon sets later on, and the Battle Pass weapon set. Sword of Dissension, I mean, hey, I don't know what it does, because I don't know where you get it from. I think it's from a PS4 reward, and I don't play on PS4, so of course I never got it. Festering Desire, it's an event reward, but if you played in 1.2 and you got this weapon, one of the best weapons in the game, use it on anyone. You thank me later. Alley Flash, it's okay, you know. If you got it, you got it. If you don't, it's not. You don't need to worry about the Alley Flash too much. Now, 4-star weapons, I can tell you what weapons are bad, straight up. Don't use the Bell. The Bell is the worst weapon in the entire game. Literally, it's not good on anyone. Rain Slasher has its moments, but generally speaking, Rain Slasher is not good either. Now, neither is Royal Greatsword. I got into the Royal set and why it's awful as well, but let's go on to the support weapons. Favonius Greatsword. Great on anyone that you want to use their energy recharges. Maybe Beidou, for example. Beidou has a high burst cost, but Favonius Greatsword, very nice on her. Sacrificial Greatsword. Great on characters like Noelle or Xinyan, because, again, it can reset your like cooldown if you hit an enemy with it and you have a decent odd of reducing it entirely. So Sacrificial Greatsword, very, very nice for a support character. Now, Prototype Archaic is a better debate club. It's basically a debate club, but with much better stats, much better attack percent, much better damage, much better everything. If you like the debate club, Prototype Archaic is probably one of the best 4-star claymores in the entire game. Especially as a free-to-play option, it's generally good. Now, White Blind, interesting weapon. You want to use the White Blind on Noelle because, hey, it's a weapon made specifically for Noelle. Now, I'd recommend getting Prototype Archaic before you get the White Blind, but if you've got 2 Claymore prototypes, which you can get for free, by the way, you just find them from weekly boss drops, or you can buy one from the Leeway Treasure Shop. It's a really, really good weapon for Noelle, but hey, I mean, you can always run something else beforehand. It's just good for us. It's her weapon, basically. And then there's Snow Tombed Starsilver. Snow Tombed Starsilver is a weapon you can get for free on Dragonspine. It's very, very good. It's a bit like Prototype Archaic in terms of damage numbers, but it just prioritizes physical damage percent instead of attack percent. So if you want a physical character like Razor, maybe even Beidou, for example, it'll be really, really good on her. And the Lithic weapon. So this is the first Lithic weapon set you'll see here. Lithic weapons are attack percent weapons, so they do a lot of damage, but the caveat here is you only get the full effect if you had the more leeway characters you have in your team. So, for example, if you run, let's say, Chongyun with the Lithic Blade, and then you run 3 Mondstadt characters, you're only going to get a 7% damage increase, whereas if you run Chongyun and 3 other characters that are from leeway, you get a 28% damage boost. So you want to run as many leeway characters as possible. It's a very situational weapon set. Now, onto the polearms, we have Dragon's Bane. It's good on Zhangling, it's okay on Hu Tao, that's about it. Prototype Star Glitter. It's okay on every support character you want to build, so for example maybe a Rosaria, maybe a Zhangling again, you know, Zhongli, it's okay. It's not going to do the most damage, but you know, if you want energy recharge, it's an okay weapon for that. Crescent Pike, best weapon for physical damage in terms of the spear class. We'll get on to the Dragonfly Spear in a second, but Crescent Pike, generally speaking, one of the better polearm weapons for physical damages like Zhangling. It works especially well on characters that hit multiple times in a row. So yeah, benefits Zhangling the most. Now, Favonius Lance, great on support characters. Dragon Spine Sphere, it's got a really, really low base attack, so you can't use any attack percent things with it, but it's got a really, really high physical damage bonus on it, so not as good as Crescent Pike, but you know, it's okay. And Lithic Spear, same as what I said about the Lithic Blade, it's good as long as you got as many leeway characters as possible. Now, onto the Catalyst, Favonius Codex, support character again, very nice. Favonius weapon set's really good. Wedge Sith, one of the biggest damage deals, you can throw it on Mona, Ningguang, Yanfei, anyone, it's just really, really good. It's not as consistent because the RNG on it's a bit wacky, but hey, you know, it's a fun weapon to use, I really enjoy it. Sacrificial Fragments, throw it on Lisa or Sucrose, especially Sucrose, Elemental Mastery, very, very nice. That is a Sucrose book right there. Solar Pearl, that's a battlepass weapon, I'll get onto that in a second. Prototype Amber, that is a Barbara weapon, so only throw this on Barbara if you don't like Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. You can always use Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. I'd recommend crafting the Mappa Mare or the Frostbearer over the Prototype Amber, but hey, if you really, really like your Barbara, throw that on it. Mappa Mare, it'd be really, really good if it didn't have Elemental Mastery on it, but as a free-to-play book, it's still pretty okay. Eye of Perception, okay, but it has a really low base attack, so be warned about that. And Frostbearer is a free-to-play craftable catalyst. I'd say, you know, it's fairly decent. You know, it's a bit of a mid-tier weapon. I'd say, like, Widsith is better, Solar Pearl's better, Blackcliff's better. You know, Frostbearer's a mid-tier weapon, but hey, if you got it, it's pretty good. And the new weapon, Wine and Song, I don't know too much about it. I think it's just mid-tier. I think it's okay. I don't know anything about it because I did pull for it. Now, onto the bows. Phone's bow, need I say less. Stringless, best for Fischl. Venti, it's good on most support characters because it increases your ability damage. So Stringless, better than Warbow in my opinion. Sacrificial Bow, best in slot for Diona. So if you got a Diona, Sacrificial Bow is great for her. Rust, best in slot for Tartaglia or a damage dealer Fischl. Prototype Crescent, generally good. Like I recommend crafting this over the Compound Bow. Compound Bow is really good for spam click Fischl. So if you didn't know, a damage dealing Fischl is you just spam the attack key, and she'll continue doing white damage. So Compound Bow is a fun build for that. Blackcliff Bow, we'll get onto it. And then they got the Alley Hunter, generally high damage bow, pretty decent. Gear get it if you want. And Weapon Mode, it was a free event reward of 1.4. I say it's a good mid-tier weapon. It was free, so it was good. Now, generally speaking, every 5-star weapon you see here is good. You know, if you got a 5-star weapon, be happy about it because they're all really good weapons. But if I was to discuss the best weapons for each type that's a 5-star, I'd say best 5-star sword, Primordial Jade Cutter, because of its ability effect. Best Greatsword, I would say Wolf's Gravestone, and then maybe Skyward Pride. Generally, those two are really nice. Someone invited me to play League of Legends, that's pretty cool. Polearm, Staff of Homa, probably best. It works best on Hu Tao and Zhongli. Primordial Jade will be in a close second. Catalyst, Lost Pairs for the sake of wins because of the damage, elemental damage bonus. And then out of the bows, Amos Bow is probably the best bow you can get. Now, we're going to get onto the shop weapons now. Now, the royal weapons... Oh, I'll go back and show the royal weapons. Now, these aren't very good. They give you attack percent, very nice. But the ability is just you get more and more crit rate the more and more you hit, which is good. But as soon as you get a crit, it resets the stack. So I don't think it's very good. But there's always the Blackcliff weapons. Now, the Blackcliff weapons are in the current shop for the month. Now, the Blackcliff weapons, generally speaking, are some of the best weapons and most underrated weapons you can get for free. Now, they have crit rate, no, they have crit damage, battlepass ones have crit rate on their abilities, and the ability of it is after you defeat an enemy, your attack is increased for 30 seconds. So, if you're doing Spiral Abyss, if you're fighting a horde of mobs, Blackcliff Pole is one of the best options you can get, and it gives you crit damage. Now, the reason why I say this is that crit damage is one of the biggest things you want to build in Genshin. For example, look at my Hu Tao. My Hu Tao is running the Blackcliff Pole at level 70, and she's a monster. Because at one point, right, attack percent isn't going to cut it anymore. You want to get crit rate and crit damage to maximize your damage potential. So you want to get crit, and Blackcliff Pole is one of your best options. Well, not Blackcliff Pole, but the Blackcliff weapons, go for them. Now, you might say, what about the Battle Pass? Is the Battle Pass worth it? Wholeheartedly, yes. Some of the weapons are some of the best weapons for some characters. Deathmatch, best for Zhongli. Great on Hu Tao. It's great on anyone. Viridescent Hunt, great on any bow user, effectively the best in slot for Child. Yeah, that's right, the Viridescent Hunt is better than some of the 5-star bows for Child, so yeah. Solar Pearl, really good on Klee, it's really good on Ningguang, it's really good on anyone who uses abilities and normal attacks. So, Solar Pearl, very nice. Serpent Spine, it's generally okay. You can run it on, Beidou, you can run it on anyone. Serpent Spine, really good. And the Black Sword, great on Jean, great on Keqing, great on anyone. You can get it no matter what. So those are my picks for best and okay weapons. If you guys got any weapons you want me to review or talk about in the comment section, let me know because I'll happily reply to your comment if I see it. I hope you guys are having a lovely day wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you guys in another video soon. Have a great day, everyone.